It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time, oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen. It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time, oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Project 2025 would dismantle democracy as we know it.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, no, other than day one.
Is a vision of implementing a startlingly authoritarian form of the U.S. government.
Same thing with the unions. They get their little 5%. They get another 2%. They get another 3%, 4%. Then all of a sudden, they're making more money than the people that own the company.
Do you do larger cuts, corporate cuts?
Yeah, I was planning on doing it. In fact,
You believe in punishment for abortion, yes or no, as a principle?
there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
What's at stake here is democracy itself. It's now Donald Trump's party. And if he's elected, the consequences will be catastrophic.
These economists so opposed to Trump's plan? Because the economic effects would be pretty terrible. This is a study done by Bloomberg Economics. and they found that Harris's plan did not have much change in either the GDP or inflation, which in a sense is a good thing at this point. But look at what Trump's plan would do. Trump's plan would cut the GDP by 8.9%. Let me put that in perspective for you. This is roughly twice the amount that the GDP went down during the financial crisis.
Wow.
So we would be looking at something between a recession and a depression.
Donald Trump is talking about Republicans here. He's talking about somebody that had a 95 ACU rating, somebody who has been the conservative for years. And yet, just because she's disloyal to him, just because she said there's something deeply wrong with a commander-in-chief allowing riots to go on, refusing to stop those riots, and in fact, going into his dining room alone, staring and looking at some of the most violent parts of the riot, rewinding them, watching them again, rewinding them, watching them again, while his vice president and Secret Service detail are locked up in the basement, and his Secret Service detail, Mike Pence, is calling their families and saying they don't think they're going to make it out alive. And now, because Liz Cheney objected to those riots and the way things were handled, she's an enemy of the state to Donald Trump. And on his closing weekend, he's calling for 9 guns to be pointed at her face to execute her.
Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I'll give them a seat at the table.
The bigger problem is the enemy from within. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
Here is my pledge to you. I pledge to seek common ground and common sense solutions to make your life better. I am not looking to score political points. I am looking to make progress. I pledge to listen to experts, to those who will be impacted by the decisions I make, and to people who disagree with me. I pledge to you to approach my work with the joy and optimism that comes from making a difference in people's lives. And I pledge to be a president for all Americans. And to always put country above party and self.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Oh, shit.
Okay, I think it's on now. Testing, 1, 2, 3. I forgot to plug in the little thing you have to plug into the camera, into the phone. All right, so give me a thumbs up in the chats if you guys can hear me. That way I'll know that I'm coming through loud and clear. I guess in the meantime, I'll start yapping. It is 11:22 a.m. in the Pacific time zone here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. It's currently about, according to this, it's temperature, waiting for it to come on, 62 degrees, mostly cloudy. I think there was a chance of some rain today. I don't know. Anyhow, here we are. I set the schedule incorrectly for that, for this live stream. It's supposed to be 11:15. I guess I had it set at 10:15. Sorry about that. That was my mistake. We got thumbs up from Aaron West. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much. Let me look at the chat real quick. We got Fancy's here first. Yay. And I think Fancy has been here since 10:15 or whatever, you know. So sorry about that. And Mr. Bob Newell, here's Trucker John. That's what Mr. Bob Newell would say if he were like right here next to me. Thanks for being here. Thanks for waiting. And then Trucker John, this fellow named Trucker John chimed in. It says, live stream should have been scheduled for 11:15 a.m. I don't know what the fuck a.m. is, but whatever, Trucker John. Pacific time, not 10:15. So see you all then. Well, thank you very much. Hey, Lorene Sparviaro is here. Thank you for being here. Well, was there at 10:15. I hope you're still here or came back. Alvin Stoops here. Hello, Alvin. Good to see Alvin. Haven't seen Alvin in a while, so thanks for joining us. Aaron's here. All right, we got Aaron and Jolie. We got both. We're on full mod squad here. Tamara Price is here. Hey, Tamara. Nice seeing you. Nick Rich is here. Like number 14. Good day, folks. Hey, hope he's got his toque on. You got your toque on, eh? Courtney, but it says we have 22 watching, 26 thumbs ups. So let's share that show. Let's grow and grow and grow. We are almost at 3,500 subs, so that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome, you guys. Aaron West says, I've had this song stuck in my head for the past 2 days. The Trucker John Sean? The Trucker John show, Sean? I can't even talk. Have you had my theme song in your head? Well, there you go. Mr. Bob Newell, I can hear you. Mr. Bob Newell, please no Uber talk. Well, now that you mentioned it, now I'm going to do an hour on Uber talk. Let's see. Yeah, Lorene says, hello, fellow truckers. Hello, Lorene. Lorene, are you a trucker? Nick Rich says, Hugger Greeter. Oh, did I miss Hugger Greeter? By the way, I am on all chat. I'm looking at the chat from my Fowler's Wrath live stream or channel. Because still, on my main channel, the Trucker John channel, or whatever, I don't even, is it called Trucker John channel? Yeah, it is called Trucker John channel. When I watched the live stream on there, I've told you guys, if you recall, I've been having this issue where I can't go to all chats. I can only go to top chats. So in order to watch all chats, I have to go to one of my other channels, which today is I'm on Fowler's Wrath, and I can get all chats. Now, I thought I fixed the problem because yesterday I deleted the app both on my phone and on this iPad. I deleted the app, and then I rebooted it. I went on and I looked at the live stream. I went to the one that was coming up because I had it set, how it's like a schedule or whatever. I went in there and I can go in the chat, and I saw that the chat filter was back. So I was able to go in the chat filter, and I was able to go to all messages. So I thought it's fixed. I thought, yay, it's fixed. Now today I start the show, and it's not there. It's gone again. I don't know what's going on, man. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest fucking thing. Technology is weird. To me, it is weird. So anyhow, I'm looking at the chat from my other channel because I can't get all chats on the other one. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think we should fire the contractors. I'm not paying. I'm not going to pay. I'm not paying you guys. You can't do good work. You can't get me my all messages. Hey, Big Hook. Big Hook's here. Good to see Big Hook. Says Turtle Toes Jolie and Aaron minding the chat. God, can this election be over already? As much as I would like Trump to in jail, if he flees to Russia, then we can no longer he can no longer be a martyr. I don't know if Russia would even take him at this point. He's of no use to Putin anymore if he's not going to win. But hey, man, we only got 3 more days. 3 more days, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So 3 more freaking days. And We can do that. I could do 3 days on my head, standing on my head. So we got this, man. We got this. Steve Sayers says, "Hey, yo, how's your morning this morning? Or how's your going this morning?" Well, my going is gone. But hey, Steve Sayers, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Mr. Bob Newell says, "Donald J. Trump, the J stands for genius." There you go. That's a good one. But should have gave you a drum sting on that one for show. Azolda Zin's here. Hey, Azolda, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Always good to see Azolda Zin in the driver's lounge. Right there, she is, right there. Oh, she's getting coffee. And yeah, get yourself a donut, get some coffee, pull up a seat. One of these days, maybe one of these days, we could do an actual live stream with an actual little driver's lounge and have actual people. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? And I would have coffee set up and maybe some orange juice and some water and maybe people who don't. I guess maybe some tea if you don't like coffee. And we would have an assortment of donuts and bagels and maybe a cheese plate or something. So just imagine that. That's what's going on in the driver's lounge, in my imaginary driver's lounge. Hey, Mike H is here, or Joel the Troll, as I like to call him. Thank you so much. I'm not sure. Mike hasn't been too trolly lately. I'm probably jinxing the whole thing. He's going to fucking just come out of left field. He's going to blindside me with something. But yeah, good to see you, Mike. Good to see you here. Bob Newell says Trucker John is the enemy within. Steve Sayers says Nick Rich, beautiful dude. And there's like, I guess, wave, thumbs up, and some sort of face. I'm not good at emoji. I'm not good at it. Fancy says working and lurking. Hi, y'all have fun. Well, hey, that's a great. You can do that. Yeah, work and lurk. Awesome. Just glad you're here, in one way or the other. Nick Rich, President Harris. That's Madam President to you. Aaron West says, Fancy, what do you do? What do you do, Fancy? Hey, Fancy. Hey, Gino Maynard's here. Good to see Gino in the old driver's lounge. Mr. Bob Newell, Trucker John is the top 1,000. I don't know if technically top 1,000, but I think I'm right there at the 1,000th mark. Because you could say top 1,000. One could be the top 1,000. Like, you know what I mean? I think I'm right there around 1,000. Maybe 990. Maybe we moved up a notch. I might be 999th best live stream on the internet. But that's just my assessment. Fancy says, I sew. Oh, okay, cool. I sew. Nick Rich, 11:21. So I'm already 9 minutes behind. Already. And so if you're wondering why I'm saying stuff and you're like, what's he talking about? Because it was like 9 minutes ago. That's why. Fancy says, okay, back to work. I'm listening. All right, Fancy. Nick Rich says the audio is fine. See, that's how. Remember, I said that a long time ago. I was asking about the audio. Mr. Bob Newell, please be prepared when the show starts. Tamara Price is here. Marsha's here. Hey, Marsha, good to see you. In the driver's lounge. Keith Polite is here. Avoiding politics today by raking leaves. Okay. Alrighty then. That'll do it. Big Hook Mike H, your name is now an internet meme. You must be proud. Mike H is an internet legend. Stephen Sayers, AN equals after now. Hey, there's Asborn Knutson. Good to see Asborn back in the chat here. It says, Trucker John, what do you think about Euro tricks like Scandias and Volvo with 750 horsepower plus? Euro, I think you say maybe trikes, the three-wheelers are you talking about? I don't know. That would be cool. That might be better because on the last show I was saying how I'd like to get a Harley, or if I see a Harley, or even just a big, a nice street bike, and I'm like thinking, man, I'd like to get one of those. That I'd like to ride again and stuff like that. And then I'm like, no, not a good idea. I know I would lay it over, or I would get hit by a car or whatever. The three-wheeler, Now you still might get hit by some asshole, but that might be a little more stable for an old man like me who hasn't. I haven't been on a bike. God, I can't remember. 30 years. I can't even remember. Probably at least 30 years. Well, you know what? Maybe less. This like brother-in-law type of person. I think I might have rode his bike around the block once, like 20 years ago. That was one time. And then other than that, it's been at least 30 years since I've did any serious amount of riding. And I'm older and I'm fatter and I'm not, and I just, I just don't have the confidence. But yeah, I guess, you could build back up to it. But maybe a three-wheeler might be, a little bit, because it's more stable. That's something to think about. And 750 horsepower, that's pretty good. That would be, but I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, to tell the truth. Until you just now brought that up. Asborn Knudsen says, Trucker John, what do you think about Euro trucks like Scandi? Oh, trucks. Okay, it wasn't trikes. Okay, the trucks, I don't know. And so that the three-wheelers don't have 750 horsepower. Okay. I was thinking about those three-wheelers, those three-wheeler like motorcycles. But okay, a truck, or Euro truck, I don't know anything about them. I don't know anything about Scandia. I mean, I do. They do have Volvos here, but more the traditional, condo sleeper type Volvo. I had a Volvo truck. I didn't own it, but when I first started driving with Swift. My first truck I got was a Volvo. And I forget the model number or whatever, but it was just your standard condo sleeper, truck. It was a nice truck. Seemed nice. Hey, Sayhouse here says, at Trucker John, I maybe can read your text, would be more correct. I couldn't hear Mr. Bob Newell. Mr. Bob Newell is a funny guy. He says funny stuff. Big Hook says, on Dude, there is a TJ combo. I assume that is not you. No. But I do go on the Dude show. I do go, in the chat. And you'll see, I think it just says Trucker John. Yeah, there's no TJ combo. But I did get, because how somebody, how people donate memberships. I got one of those the other day from the Dude show. So now I'm a member. So whoever did that, thank you very much. I don't even know who did it. You just get like an email notification. It says, "Hey, you've been gifted a membership," and I got one from the Dude show. But anyhow, Jolie says, "Sorry guys, I had to go. Something just came up." Oh, okay. Take care of it. Hope everything's okay. This was probably 10 minutes ago, so you're already long gone, probably. But hope everything's okay with Jolie. And Aaron West is with us. We got Aaron. Bob Newell says, "I'd like to hear Godfather." Do 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 do. Tried to do the Godfather thing. That was a horrible tune of it. Make you an offer. Make you an offer you can't refuse. I don't know. That's the best I can do, Bob. Hey, Bob. Josh is here. Hey, Josh. Good to see old Josh in the driver's lounge. Thanks for being here. Joseph Winnie is here. Says, happy Saturday, everybody. Says Pooh. Hey, thanks, Joseph. Back at you. Midas Kevin Anderson is here. Hey, Midas Kevin's here. Got a lot of people here in the driver's lounge. Lorene Sparviaro says, yes, drove in New York where you have to parallel park that bad boy for your road test. Had to stop due to physical issues. Miss it. When I took my driver's test in Sacramento, in West Sacramento, California, I think we had to parallel park too to get our license. I'm trying to remember because they had it like, it's a big lot, it's a big like kind of like a big huge parking lot or whatever. But then they have it all coned off to do. So you do your straight back, and then you go around, and then there's you do your sort of, was it 45-degree angle back up or whatever, like you're backing into a dock. And I think they did they just called it like a curbside So I know these are just cones. There's not the pressure of trying to, wedge yourself in between, other parked vehicles or whatever, and out in the real world. Fortunately, as I very rarely had to do like a curbside in real life, because I never did that kind of load. There was never like a side door. I never had like the side door thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I did do some of that kind of curbside parking just to park. Like if I was trying to find a place to park, sometimes you had to do that, like for the night. But yeah, New York, like if you're in the city, that's crazy. I never really went into New York as a truck driver. I drove by, I-95 corridor there, drove through New Jersey, and you could see the Big Apple, across the way there. And that was kind of a nice, picturesque kind of seeing the skyline of New York City. But yeah, you drive through New Jersey, and then you go over is it George Washington Bridge or one of the bridges? And then you basically, well, it's not George Washington, huh? But you basically just go right around, Manhattan and everything, and you go up into, that's where you go up into Massachusetts and stuff. If you're going up that way, and that's what I did a few times. Went up into more of the kind of New England states or northeastern states. But yeah, man, driving in New York, if you're in the city there, that's got to be pretty crazy. Nick Rich is saying hi to Joseph Winnie. I'm just looking at the chat, guys. I'm just scrolling on down. Just want to say hi to everybody as we get ready. Here's Tim Farrell. Says hi, 56. Talking to Nick there. Good morning to Tim Farrell. Good morning or afternoon. It's probably afternoon for most of you guys. It's 11:39 here in the Pacific time zone. Josh says TJ needs new glasses. Why did I? Oh, because of the truck. I said truck instead of trike, or I said trike instead of truck. Is that what that's about? Because other than that, I think I got everything right. Hey, Jupiter Judy's here. Hey, Jupiter Judy, how are y'all? Wait, hello all. How are you all? Maybe I do need new glasses. Mr. Spock is here. Hey, look there, Mr. Spock. Live long and prosper. Hope the chickens are doing good. Alvin Stube saying hello back at me. Jupiter Judy from, I believe, Jupiter, Florida. Hope everything's over there going okay. Going okay. Storms, cleaning up after storms. I don't know if there's any more storms on the way. But you guys take care back there in Florida. I think my coffee doth emptieth. That was some Shakespeare for you. Mr. Spock, I was on my moped yesterday. I got it going 60 kilometers per hour. Wow. And I think that's faster than 60 miles per hour, right? Or would it be slower? Because kilometers are longer than miles. So that might be slower than 60 miles per hour. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out. Sayhel says, we can handle a 9-minute lag, Trucker John. I'm sure you can. It would suck if every 10 minutes you'd have to figure out where you were driving your truck to drop your load of lot lizards. Oh, you sneaky guy getting the lot lizard reference in there, huh? Sneaky old Seha. Mr. Bob Newell, what happened to the Uber talk? Well, I thought you said you didn't want any Uber talk. Big Hook, for those not following, it was a Macaulay Culkin reference. Oh, well, Big Hook, what was that? Now I got to go back because Bob Newell says, congrats on being $9.99. Thank you. Yeah, we moved up a notch. I don't know. I don't even remember what reference. I guess I don't know. I'm not going to scroll it back. I don't even know what you're talking about. Apparently, it went right over my head, probably. Let's see here. Hey, Nick Rich gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Nick. Always appreciate that. It's a fun way to support the show. And hey, and Lorene got the membership, so that's pretty awesome. So congratulations to Lorene. You got a membership, and thank you, Nick Rich, for for doing that. That's pretty awesome. Mr. Bob Newell, what state has the worst interstate highways? Oh, I don't know. The interstate highways, that's all, it's a federal system, so it's pretty uniform. But each state is sort of, I think, responsible, to maintain them and have upkeep on them. But I think they're all pretty good as far as like being maintained. But some of them, you could tell like certain areas use different materials. I think maybe whatever's closest, because or the way they do it, like some of the ones like in Texas or in the South, it's concrete, but it's like the way they lay it, they do it in these little kind of square sections. So it can be almost, as you're driving over it gives a real washboard kind of effect to it. But there's just little things like that. But I don't know. The interstates are pretty uniform. It's just some areas are just, it's more condensed, and but as far as like, they're like traffic or whatever, but that's just par for the course if you're in a high population area. Asbjørn Knudsen, with a 50 in okay, I guess. Knudsen you're from Norway, right? Norway? Says, John, thanks. 3 days to go before we know if the world is safe again. And yeah, a three-wheeler would be nice for old people like us. Vote blue. Yeah, and still, it's not like a motorcycle, but it's still, you get to have the open air and you get to be out there and, you get to have your little throttle. But thank you so much for that, for the donation to the show, contributing to the show. I always appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thanks for being a part of the show and being in here. Tom Bias is here. Hey, Tom, good to see you. Marsha's here. Big Hook. If Trump instigates violence, do you think Garland will finally charge Trump? Well, hasn't he been charged? He's just facing, or I guess those are state charges. I don't know, but don't worry about it. Trump's going to go down. He's got a lot of cases ahead of him, a lot of court cases. He's going to get sentenced this month, later this month for those 34 felonies, right? He's going to get sentenced to jail time for that, and he's got other cases pending that he's going to be found guilty of, and he's going to be sentenced to prison for that. Whether he, like we always have that, we always have that conversation. Will he actually go to prison? Will he be put on house arrest or whatever? That's kind of a different issue, but he will be found guilty and he will be sentenced to prison time. Where he serves the prison time, that's another issue. Nick Rich says, hopefully that won't be the reason to charge him, Big Hook. But I have talked previous on the show. I think there is going to be violence. He's already stoking the violence. You saw the clip in the warm up here or on the intro about Trump basically threatening Liz Cheney with the firing squad, and no matter how much he tries to back away from that or walk that back, no, that's exactly what he was painting, that image. He always paints these images of violence, and he's got millions and millions and millions and millions of followers. And even if only 1% of his, he probably has a solid base of 30 million people, let's just say. And that, I'm not saying he's only going to get 30 million votes in this election. He'll probably still get 65 or 70 million votes or whatever. But those are people that are Republicans, and they're still going to vote for a Republican. Those are people that haven't fallen away. A lot of the Republicans have fallen away, as we've seen, and they're either going to vote for Harris or they're not going to vote at all. But he's probably still going to get 60 or 70 million votes. And out of that, not all of those are maggots. Not all of those are hardcore maggots. Maybe 30 million of those are maggots. And out of the 30 million, not all 30 million are really hardcore. Will do anything. And out of that 30 million, I don't know, you might have 15 or 20 million that are more hardcore. And out of that, the ones that will actually do, let's say, violence or attempt violence, whether it's storming a Capitol or whether it's intimidating people at the polls, burning ballot boxes, that kind of stuff. Out of that, let's say 15 or 20 million, the percentage-wise, the amount of people that might do that, it might only be 1% or 2%, but that's still, what's 1% of 15 million? What is that? Is that 1.5 million, or is that 10%? Would that be 150,000? I don't know. If you had 150,000 crazy lunatics, or even 300,000 or 500,000 crazy people that are willing to pick up arms and commit violence against their fellow Americans because they're going by what their dear leader is telling them to do, that's a significant number. That's a pretty good number of people, hundreds of thousands of people that could do that, and they could do some damage, and they could do some serious damage and violence upon other people. So that is something to look out for, and it's something that's kind of scary. I'm not saying 150,000 people are going to do that, but even if it's a few dozen people, I mean, people could get hurt from Donald Trump's stoking the violence, and he's going to do it. And every day as we get closer to the election, he's going to keep that, because he's more and more desperate, and he knows he's going to lose, and he's like a cornered animal, and those are the most dangerous. It's most dangerous when you have a cornered animal who is desperate and wants to get away from being cornered, and they will do anything and everything they can to get out and get free. And that's what Donald Trump is, and he's going to keep stoking as he gets more and more desperate. The violent rhetoric is going to get more and more, and so I don't know. I don't want to be a fearmonger myself, but just watch out for it, man. Be careful. Keep your head on a swivel. If you're voting in person, go with friends. Have a buddy system. Don't go alone. Especially if you're in a red state or a red district. He's trying to, number one, probably make people fearful so they won't vote. And number two, he wants to go down swinging or whatever. He's like, okay, I'm going to lose. Fuck this place. Let's burn it to the ground or whatever, That's his mentality, I think. Hey, Red Water's here. Red Water says, but a kilometer is shorter than a mile. Oh, no, I think a kilometer is longer than a mile. Kilometers are longer than miles. Mr. Spock says, sad day yesterday. I called my son in to call two roosters. Only little Jerry Seinfeld left. Sorry, Nick Rich. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to skip down a little bit because I'm probably 20 minutes behind. Big Hook says, my understanding is that Biden has the National Guard on alert just in case the maggots lose their shit when Trump claims the election is stolen again. Yeah, I think, we, and by we, I just mean we collectively, and, our security elements should be, ready. Like, because we've already seen it. So I don't think we're going to see any storming of the Capitals, but I am afraid of violence being committed on just people who are just voting in kind of random places. That might be the thing that they do. I don't know. Hey, Jimmy Roberts is here. Jimmy says, I live in Arkansas and voted for VP Harris, of course. My vote should count. Winners and lovers' votes should be sent to the Electoral College, not winner take all. Yeah, anything having to do with the Electoral College, it's going to take an act of Congress to change it, either to change how the votes are taken, or to eliminate it, or altogether. It takes a big act of Congress. But yeah, I hear you. Most of us in this chat probably, would like the Electoral College to be or part of in the Constitution to be eliminated. But Mr. Bob Newell says Trump is guilty of being a big jerk. He's guilty a lot more than that too. He's guilty of being a rapist. He's guilty of committing fraud, and he's going to soon be found guilty of being a traitor and of trying to influence an election in Georgia. He's going to be guilty of a lot of shit. Nick Rich, 24 days until sentencing for the 34 felonies. Sahel says Elon is on his way to jail for contempt of court. If he keeps fucking around, Musk is going to find a prison too. I hope so. Musk, I wish that he would be forced to step down from Tesla, and they would get him replaced with someone who really just cares about the company, about the Tesla company, and about the car, and about making good cars, and isn't fucking political, and isn't a fucking racist and a anti-Semite. Joseph Woody says, I've driven long enough to have experienced a Browning 5x4 reaching through the steering wheel to shift is dicey. I don't know what a Browning 5x4 is. You have to reach through the steering wheel to shift? Yeah, I don't. Is it like the shifter was like between your legs or something? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I guess I didn't drive that long. Stony Baker mood. Hey, it says, hi, TJ, you rock. Well, thank you, Stony. Thanks for being here. And you rock, Stony Baker, MD. Mr. Spock, what are people going to talk about when the orange sphincter turd is gone? Oh, I'm sure there'll be stuff. There's never any shortage of things to talk about. Don't worry about that. I know a lot of people, it's kind of like a joke, kind of tongue-in-cheek. It's like, what are we going to do when Trump's gone? We won't have anything to talk about. There'll still be stuff to talk about, no matter what. Just like after Obama was president, people found, they didn't like his tan suit. That was from the right. But even on the left, it was like things weren't being done fast enough. Not enough stuff was getting done, even though, there was a stalemate in Congress. Obama only had a full Congress on his side for I think it was 43 days, and that's when they were able to get the ACA passed. So then you had Republican majority, and you had see what happened was it in the Senate? Was that when Boehner was the Speaker of the House? So you had all the shenanigans of John Boehner, and you had that's when they started doing all of the filibusters and everything. So then people were complaining that Obama wasn't progressive enough, and he wasn't doing enough stuff and getting enough stuff done. And he was doing the best he could with the Congress he had. People didn't show up in 2010, and the Tea Party took over Congress. So there's always going to be something for people to bitch about and complain about on both sides. This is one of the times where I agree about the both sides do it argument. Both sides bitch and complain, and both sides will bitch and complain. Well, the thing about it, though, the right will pretty much only bitch and complain about the Democrats, and the left will bitch and complain about Republicans and their own. They will eat their own. Ronald Reagan says, do no harm. When he was talking about campaigning against other Republicans, it was like, do no harm to, fellow Republicans. In other words, campaign on your own without destroying your fellow Republicans, because eventually you're all going to be working. Whoever wins is going to be working with a lot of those people anyhow, in Congress probably, or wherever they're at. But I don't know. That's probably good advice. Maybe Democrats should stop hurting each other so much, unless they really deserve it, like a Bob Menendez or something like that. They deserve to be shunned and said, yeah, just go away. We don't want you. We're not going to stick up for a Bob Menendez, and that's fine. That's when we should not kind of like stick together. Nick Rich says 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometers. So kilometers are longer. I was right. Surfer Norm, a kilometer is now the Surfer Norm says a kilometer is 0.6 of a mile. We've got a debate going on here about the kilometer versus mile. I'm skipping down, so I may have missed some of the stuff in the thread here. The threads that are going on. Jimmy Roberts, sorry about my typo. Francis, I'm going back to work. Bad little Jerry. But Mr. Bob 1, I guess, kilometer equals 0.6241 miles. Miles are longer. So what did Nick Rich say? He said that a kilometer is 1.6 miles. I'm confused. Mr. Vernome says Tesla is Elon's. However, his contract with SpaceX should be canceled and restored to NASA. I know that Tesla is Elon's. I'm saying though, they went public and they have a board. They have board members. They have, they can do hostile takeovers, or they can vote. They could vote him out. I believe they could vote him out as CEO. I mean, they can't take away his ownership. He'll still own whatever he owns, but they could vote him out of being the man in charge of running Tesla if they get enough votes on the board. Don't you watch the session? That's all they did. They were always trying to manipulate the board vote. And they always fucked up. There was always, in secession, it was always this last minute, turncoat. They didn't go through with the plan, or they didn't go through with this. They were going to do this big takeover. And then at the last second, that's what I kind of hated about the show. Is like, it got to be kind of predictable. It was like, okay, who's going to, basically it was just, the only question was, okay, who's going to turn on who next? They were all cutthroat, fucking backstabbing bastards on that show. I really got sick of it, actually. Anyway, Wes Webb is here. Dims do the same thing. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Dims do the same thing. What? Did I not say, Wes? Did I not say that this is the area where both sides do it? Did I not say that? Jesus Christ, you piss me off sometimes. Steven Sayre says, boycott Peter Thiel, owner of PayPal. Wes Webb, no both sides crap. Wes Webb. Mr. Spock, Dark Knight is still traumatized. I guess there was fighting with the cocks. There was cockfighting going on. Wes Webb, laughing out witch. No witch. No calling people witches either. Unless you're talking about Halloween or something. Mr. Bob Newell, I almost said something, but I forgot. David McPeak, I almost missed the podcast because I thought it said Trumper John. Laughing out, glad I looked again. Hey, David McPeak, thanks for being here. Yeah, it's not Trumper John. Nah, not even close. But I'm glad you came back and you're in, so thanks for being here. Nick Rich says 12 noon. Hey, I'm only like a minute behind now. Let's see. We don't reset the clocks until Sunday morning at like 1 or 2 in the morning. And today, everything is on, for me at least, all my clocks are all, it just automatically changes because everything's on the computer. Everything's like my Apple Watch, my iPads and phone. So you don't have to worry. It just automatically changes. Let's see. Wes Webb, I just got here. Everybody knows that he's already picking on me. That's because you come in and you right off the bat you say stupid shit. That's why. Asmer Knudsen, another 50. I think that's Norwegian money. I don't know how to say it. Like here we have dollars. There's like yin and yuan and rubles and rupees or whatever. So I don't know what you guys call your money, but thank you so much, Asper, for that. for the very nice, awesome donation to the show. Keep the show growing and support the show. So Asmer says U.S. mile 2 kilometers is 1.6. So in 1 mile, you will drive 1,600 meters or 1.6 kilometers. Mile longer than kilometer, 1,000 meter. Okay. All right. I guess that clears that up. I guess I always read it where I thought it sounded like the kilometer was longer. But I guess I reversed it in my mind. This is why we can't go to metric here in America, because it would just fuck us all up. But we could do it. And actually, we could do it. It would just take time to adjust. Sehal says, Sai, 1 mile is 1.60934 kilometers. Shit's important in firing solutions. Okay. Mike Mayberry, hi, everybody. Hey, Mike. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge. Steven Sayre says, save Captain Paul Watson from Japanese warrant, locked in Danish jail for over 100 days. I didn't hear about that. So Captain Paul Watson is in a Danish jail because of a Japanese warrant. Wow. What's the warrant for? I mean, if it's just for some bullshit thing, I guess. But did he kill somebody or rape somebody? I don't know. Server Norm says there is no debate. A mile is a lot longer. The number 0.6214 and my number 0.6 is the same. My number's rounded off. Yeah, okay, I get that. I think we've solved it. We can put to rest that the mile is longer than the kilometer. All right, I think we can put that to rest. Fancy says, I plan to cook Jerry Seinfeld. Ooh, wow. That's harsh. That's harsh, Fancy. Nick Rich, you need math in the military. Say ha. Yeah, for those coordinates. You got to put your coordinates in so your bombs go in the right places. That's for sure. Mr. Brubnell, what's longer, 1 yard or 1 meter? Oh boy, now we're going to start that up, huh? Well, let's see. A yard is 3 feet. A meter is, I don't even know. Sehal says wrong. Aaron says things again. For Asmer Newson, yeah, thank you, Asmer. Wes Webb, I just estimate. I think a kilometer is about a half a mile. Apparently, it's a little more than half a mile. It's 0.6 of a mile, apparently. I always thought a kilometer was more than a mile. All of these years, just think about it. I'm 64. All these years that I have, going back to probably grade school or something, I thought a kilometer was longer than a mile. And somehow I passed. Hey, Robert Perez is here. Good to see Robert. Robert says, I just got home. Howdy, everybody. Howdy, Robert Perez. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge. Thanks for hanging out. We're just debating things like what's longer, a kilometer or a mile. The important stuff. Nick Rich says, Americans are smart enough to transition to metric, but the stubbornness would persist nonetheless. Well, we tried that in the 70s. There was a big push, I think, during the Carter administration. Or maybe, yeah, if it started with him, or maybe it was under Ford, maybe. But I remember there was a big push to start doing things in metrics. There were even some baseball fields, not the Canadian ones, but I think there were even some American baseball fields where they had the distance, the outfield fences posted in I guess in meters instead of feet. And you started seeing a picture for that, but there was a big resistance to that, and I think I was one of them. I mean, I was a kid. I was like junior high and high school, aged, and I wasn't really. I'm like, no, this is not going to change. This is the way we've always been doing it, all that kind of stuff. So I was part of that mentality of not wanting to change. And I was like, fuck the rest of the world. If we are what we are. If you don't like it, then too bad. Don't come here or whatever. That was my attitude. And but now looking back on it, I think like, if we would have stuck with it in the 70s, by the mid to late 80s, it would have been all second nature. We wouldn't even have missed the old, what is it, the imperial system or whatever they call it. So I don't know. But it is what it is. Left wing gorillas here. Hey, left wing, good to see you. It says mile is 1.6 kilometers. Yeah, we've kind of dealt with that. That's why I thought, okay, look, a mile is 1.6 kilometers. So I guess that means the mile is longer. Say how it says 1K equals 1,000 meters. 1 mile is 15,050 meters. Say how 1660. Okay, I guess we're just going to keep beating this horse. As far as I'm concerned, this horse is dead. I guess we're just going to keep beating it. The poor dead horse. Let's get on there and beat that horse some more. Mr. Spock, metric puts on a good live performance. MJ Daniel says, which is longer, a mile, a league, or Arnold Palmer's schlong? That's funny. Fancy says, la 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 la, metric bad. Asborn Knudsen says, USA school teach you to pass the test, so only sadly, but still American got to the moon first. That's right, and don't forget that. West Webb says, good question, Robert. Do we have a car yet? I just transferred my money into a local account in case my current vehicle doesn't last the winter. One of these days, West Webb's going to buy that car. He's been talking about it I've known the guy for like 3 years now through the internets. Been talking about the same car he's going to buy. One day he's going to get it. He's going to finally do it. Tom Bias says, I remember going through Canada back in the day, and the speed limit signs had mile per hour and kilometers per hour. 55 miles per hour, I guess, equals 90 kilometers per hour. Something like that. And I can remember I think even in the States, there were some places that had that type of a deal back in the 70s and late 70s. That there was this push to switch us over, and the American people, by and large, just weren't having any of it. We're just resistant to change. But like I say, after 10 or 15 years, it would have been like no big deal. That people would have just forgotten all about the old miles per hour and all that shit. Nick Rich, what other countries haven't moved to metric? Anyone know? I think they all do. I don't know. Although I've heard that England does everything with metric, I guess, except for miles per hour. I've heard that they this is what I've heard. Maybe Surrender Monkey, if he was on, he could tell us, or Sharky. But I've heard that their signs are in miles per hour, which is weird to me, because that's like the only thing that they do that's different than the rest of Europe. I think, but I could be wrong, or that could be a false thing that I heard. Surfer Gnome says, in auto manufacturing, both systems are now used as a mechanic. My toolbox has both. Well, yeah. Well, I've had those tools too in metric and in the is it called Imperial system or whatever they call it? Whatever our system is called. Joseph Winnie says, look at your dash. All modern speedometers show both kilometers and miles per hour. Yeah, I don't know if all of them do, but yeah. And they've been doing that for a long time, yeah. Mr. Spock, a league is longer. West Webb, United States, Liberia, and Myanmar don't use metric, according to West Webb. I guess those are the only three. Mike Mayberry says there's the old Bob and Doug McKinsey method of figuring out metrics. Double it and add 30. That's funny. Surfer Norm says Nick Rich, Britain is still inches and metric, and the old System Imperial. Oh, so they use inches and metric. And like I said, someone says that their signs are in miles per hour, their speed limit signs and stuff. Hey, Fancy giving a membership. Thank you so much, Fancy. That's so awesome of you. Thanks for supporting the show with that membership gift. And it looks like Lizard King NWO got that. So congratulations to Lizard King. I don't know if Lizard King is in the chat today, but I remember on the last show, I think we saw the Lizard King. So thank you, Fancy. That's very awesome. And it's always fun. Those are fun, those gifts, membership gifts. So thank you so much. West Webb says, as soon as my Mariner breaks or they get the Mach E EV right. Well, let's see. How long has the Mach E been out now? It's been a couple of years. Because usually they you hear the thing about never buying something when it first comes out, especially like a car, because they got a lot of bugs to work out. So I would say that they might be there. They might or the next model's coming out. Maybe I don't know if you want to wait a whole another year. Well, for you don't care because you've been waiting so long anyhow. But I would say it might be getting to the point where the car has been around long enough. Maybe all the bugs have been worked out, or a lot of them. Maybe next year. Maybe one more year. Maybe wait till one more, whenever they bring out their next model year, which might be next spring or something. So. Steven Sayre says we got to have a new heat and air system. Cost twice as much now than 15 years ago. Are you just talking about you personally or like generally? Mr. Spock, I think a league is 6 miles. I don't know. I'm stoned. Oh, blame it on the weed. West Webb, or I might get a different electric. Well, there's a lot coming out. Rivian looks really good. But they're expensive. I mean, Rivians and Lucid, those are nice looking cars. They're very expensive. Very, very expensive. Now, maybe you're rich and you can pay for that, but the Rivians and Lucids are, I think, very expensive. I mean, you can still get, and I know we hate Tesla because we hate Musk, and I understand that. I don't like the guy either. But I think you get really good value with a Model 3 or a Model Y. And especially if you get the federal tax credit, $7,500 knocked off the price, you can get a nice Model Y in the 40s. You could get a nice new Model 3 in the 30s, low 30s or mid 30s with that tax write-off. But they write off right at the point of sale, and they have a great charging network. I think those are great cars, but there's lots of other ones coming out. There's, of course, we've talked about the Ioniq 6, I guess, right? And I always forget if that's Hyundai or Kia. I guess it's Hyundai. But yeah, there's a lot of other ones coming out. Polestar 2 or Polestar 3, I think they even have now. Chevys, they have the Equinox, the Silverado pickup, and I believe they have the Blazer, a Blazer EV model. Those look really nice. The trucks, the Silverado, that's $100,000. That's out of my price range. The Equinox, I don't know. If you can get one for in the maybe 40s or 50s, those might be comparable to a Model Y price wise. Cadillac even has some nice ones, but those are kind of. I think you can get that. What's it called? The Lyric or something. Those might start around in the 50s or 60s, which for a lot of people, that's, believe it or not, West Webb, you might not believe this, but that's a lot of money for most people. Maybe not for you, but so they're still priced a little high. I'm just trying to think, like, okay, so the Mach E, I think the ones you were looking at, you say those were like what, 50,000, 50, 60,000. So if you're not going to get a Mach E, maybe look at the Chevys. The Chevys might be good. The Rivian might be good. I don't know, whatever you want. I mean, it's up to you, but. I guess the point I'm trying to make is there are a lot more choices coming out, and they're getting better as time goes on, and as they, have 2, 3, 4, 5 years of putting out cars, they're getting better, working out the bugs and everything. So this whole EV thing is still basically in its infancy stage, and we're going to see all the manufacturers putting out EV cars, and as the years go by, they're going to just keep getting better and better, better made, better technology, improvements of the battery technology, which will improve range, which will improve, and we're going to have improvements of the infrastructure as far as being able to charge when you're on the road, having chargers out, if you're going across country. That's the most difficult thing. If you're just driving around town, you can buy a home charger if you have your own home or a place you can install it. And there are more and more places, I think, that are going to start for at least for apartments. They're going to have charging available. But the infrastructure does need to be improved, and it will be improving as we go through these next 5 to 10, 15 years. The infrastructure, as far as charging networks and availability of chargers, that's going to continue to improve. And as that improves, that will bring down the range anxiety. And as the cars more and more are made and produced, it's going to bring prices down too. So right now, it's still a little high. Like I said, you can buy a nice used Teslas, Model 3s and Model Ys for in the 20,000, between 25, 26,000, 27,000, maybe even under 20,000 for some of the older ones, and they have higher miles and stuff. But I mean, you can find some good deals for used. But like I said, there's a lot of way to go, and we're still new in this, and it's just only going to be getting better as far as I'm concerned. The whole EV, spectrum, and from all the manufacturers and from everything, from build qualities of the vehicles to the technology getting better and the infrastructure getting better. It's all going to be. It's going to be, the difference will be between night and day in 5 to 10 years from now, between the way it is now. So anyhow, that was Wes Webb getting me on this EV rant, I suppose. Asborn Knudsen gifted 5 Trucker John memberships. Thank you, Asborn. That's so nice of you. To do that. I really love that. It helps support the show, and it lets other people become members, and maybe they'll watch more, and maybe you all will subscribe, and share the show, get the show out there. And it's always fun to see who got them. So because of Asborn Knudsen, a very kind donation of these memberships, Cynthia Walker got one, Summertime 87 got one, Spherical Man got one, WTF Dad Shoes got one, and Louis Sehow Jr. got one. A lot of names I don't even recognize. So we have people who do subscribe and who watch the show or from time to time. We have almost 3,500 subscribers, and so these are folks that I don't think I've ever seen in the chat. Maybe Cynthia Walker, but most of them, Summertime 87. So maybe this will bring people into the chat. So thank you so much, Asborn. Maybe these folks they'll get an email notification, and they'll go, "Hey, I just got gifted this membership for this Trucker John show that I checked out one time," and maybe they'll come back and check it out again. So thank you so much, Asborn. That's great, and it's fun to see who got the memberships, because it is like a random thing. You just never know who it's going to be, and so it's fun. I think it's fun. You might not think it's fun, but I think it's fun. Wes Webb says they said the 2025s would be corrected, but they haven't been yet. For the Mach E, what were they correcting? What was the issue? Stephen Sayers says, "Make America Trumpless again." Absolutely. I can't wait till that orange shit stain is done away with. Asborn News says the memberships are handed out random, but I hope you will enjoy it. Yes, they are random. And thank you again for doing that. Very nice of you. Tom Bias says Ohio State 20, Penn State 13, 119 left in the fourth quarter. Buckeyes versus the Nittany Lions or something like that. I don't have a dog in either one of those in that race, in that game. Sayal says 1 meter and 1 yard are close. A football field, for example, is 100 yards or 91 meters. Mr. Spock, league any of several European units of measurement ranging from 2.4 to 4.6 statute miles. Okay, this is getting boring. The mile talk and everything, the kilometer talk. Supernova says for most people, a 2-year-old lease return is the best new car. Yeah, I've thought about getting into a lease. I might do that. I might just do that with Tesla because they have a really good deal. It's like $3,000 down, and you can get a Model Y. You can get a Model 3 for even cheaper, but I want a Model Y. And I think that the last time I saw it, I could get a Model Y. I could get it's a 3-year lease, and I could get up to 15,000 mile allowance per year. And I think it was $299 a month or something, I think. And I was thinking about doing that as opposed to owning one. But I'm still up in the air. And I think I'm going to just wait until next year sometime. I'm going to get through this fall, through the holiday season, and then maybe next spring or something I'll make my decision. Wes says, I already looked at the Equinox. It is my third choice Tesla S Plaid. Of course, love that improved Mach E, GT, or California. Is there a car called California? Nick Rich says, I'm enjoying the math lessons. Really, Mike Pillow said he learned calculus in 8th grade, not me. Mr. Bob Newell says, what weighs more, 1 kilogram or 1 pound? Oh, boy. Stoking the fire, aren't you, Bob? You're just stoking the fire. MJ Daniel says, once all the major manufacturers get involved, it will speed up improvements and price. If somebody started a charging system, they could make good profits. Well, Tesla has a charging system. They have the best charging system out there, and that's why Chevy and Ford and Rivian and I think other companies, they all want to go on Tesla's charging system, and they've opened it up. Tesla has to Chevy and Ford and Rivian, and I think I don't know if Volkswagen is, but they're all going to be on it because that is the best one. It's way better than any other one that I've ever used. They're like Electrify America and was it EVgo or something. They're kind of crappy. They're slow. There are not very many of them. They're unreliable as far as whether or not they're going to be working. The Teslas, I've had almost zero problems with them. They're usually pretty fast. Every now and then, you'll see a charging station isn't just one, because people get confused about that too. They think that one charger is a charging station. No, that's one charger. The charging stations usually have multiple chargers. I've seen anywhere from just 4 or 5 to 30 or 40, or even more. If you go to Baker, California, I don't know how many are there. They've got rows and rows and rows of them, but of chargers. And very rarely there's one malfunctioning. And usually, if there's one that's not working, the next day you go there, it'll be fixed. I mean, they get on it. So that is called the North American Charging System, NACS. That is what is going to be the standard because it's the best. And that's what everybody wants to go to, like these other manufacturers. So they need to make more of those. And that's why I don't understand Musk. He had a big team that were just in charge of building superchargers, charging stations. They made over 50,000 of them worldwide, and most of them were here in North America. I don't know how many, what the breakdown is. But it seems like as soon as not too long after they hit that 50,000 benchmark, it was a few months later, or maybe it was, I don't know, 6 months later. It might have been a year later. I don't know. So I don't know what they were up to. They might have been up to 60,000 by that time. But then he like slashed that department. He like fired almost everybody in that division of his company, except for I guess one or two kind of key people. And no one knows to this day. I've never heard any explanation as to why, any logical explanation as to why, other than he's trying to sabotage his own company or something. Because the Tesla charging system was and still is being praised as being the gold standard in charging electric vehicles. And I don't know why he slashed that department, because that's where they need to focus on, I believe. But what do I know? MJ Daniel says it took a while for gas cars and gas stations to take off too. Yeah, when cars first came out, there really were no gas stations, and people were finding refineries or something and just getting jerry cans or whatever they had in those days to get fuel and like to carry around with them. There were probably lots of little refineries popping up. And then finally someone said, hey, let's make a gas station. But but that took time because not everybody had a car. People were still in horse and buggy, and you were sharing the road. The automobiles were sharing the road with horse and buggies. It probably took, I don't even know, MJ Daniel might know, it might have taken 20 years before there was like gas stations popping up all over the place. Wes Webb says, in an emergency, Josh, I'll buy a plug-in hybrid. Plug-in hybrids are a great way to go. It's not an EV, but I think that's a great way to go. I think it's better than just an old-fashioned gas guzzler or an old-fashioned just straight gas-powered engine. I think it's a great way to go, and it's a great, for a lot of people, it's a great sort of stepping stone. If they've been driving just regular full gas engines, cars their whole life, and they're not ready to go to an EV, a plug-in hybrid, I think, is a great stepping stone, and it does help with the environment. Because after all, at least for me, this mainly is about the environment and about global warming, and we do need to stop burning all these fossil fuels that we're burning. And if we could reduce it by half, it doesn't even have to be 100%, in my opinion. If we could reduce the amount of fossil fuels that we're burning and the amount of emissions that we are, spewing into the atmosphere, if we could cut that by 50%, like let's say within the next few years, that would be a huge, 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 huge thing. And we can do that by driving electric vehicles. And like I say, it doesn't have to be 18-wheelers right now, even though they've got those coming out. And it doesn't have to be big farm equipment or big construction equipment right now. Eventually that will be. But just our personal vehicles that we drive every day to go to work and to go to school, to go shopping and to go on road trips or whatever. Our personal vehicles, our sedans, the cars we drive around, the cars that we have in our driveways, if those were EVs instead of straight gas, then you're eliminating all of that tailpipe emission. And tailpipe emission, eliminating that is like half of the battle. That's half the battle right there. So why do I like EVs? Yeah, that's why. There's no tailpipe emission. And you're not using gas on a daily basis to power it. And that's huge. That is absolutely huge. I'm just skipping down in the chat here. Wes Webb says the Mach-E issue is that the chargers won't work correct. Oh, yeah, that's right. Fuse stuck. Mach-E was going to go to Tesla system. Yeah, I guess there was something. He said something to fuse because they had to come out with an adapter too, because that's another thing. The fittings, the the cable fittings and where the plug in, that needs to be all standardized and universal too. That's something that apparently the government is going to have to step in, because these manufacturers are idiots and they all want their own separate things. That should be universal. But I guess it was a fuse stuck issue and they didn't fix it. But they hopefully they will soon. Westwood, the California edition of the Mach E. Well, you should have said that instead of just California. Sehal says, Trucker John, I'm looking hard at the new Toyota Corolla hybrid, 51 miles per gallon, 28K new. Yeah, a hybrid is great. Like I say, hybrids and plug-in hybrids, which are two different things, but those are great stepping stones. You're using less fuel. A lot of these hybrids, and especially even the plug-in hybrids, people can own that and fill up once and not fill up for a year or 2 years or whatever. Your biggest problem might be that the fuel is going to go bad in your car. You might have to go burn that off or whatever before it goes bad. Silver Dome said, I'd rent a Tesla Plaid for a weekend. They are super quick. I've never driven a Tesla Model S. And yeah, because they don't have Plaid versions in the 3 or the Y. They have like a premium. They call it premium or premier or whatever they call it version, and those are the ones that they're like, I guess, dual motors, and they're all-wheel drive, and they're really fast. But I don't think those are like Plaid versions. I guess Plaid, because I guess they have a Plaid X, don't they? Or is it just Model S? I don't know. I can't remember all of it, but yeah, they are very, very fast. But even the regular standard models are way faster than just about anything else that's on the road. They're not the fastest, but it's fast enough. Fancy says, tell us about your wildest Uber passengers. I really haven't had any. There really aren't any stories that are any wild. I mean, there are some people that are just kind of, maybe they've been drinking and they're a little exuberant, a little loud, maybe. There's some people that just have different personalities. Like some people are kind of hyper and they just really talk a lot. And there are other people that are very quiet and shy and don't say anything. I've had a girl, like when I first started, I think she had just gotten in a fight or just broke up with her boyfriend, and she was on the phone talking to her girlfriend, and she was just crying the whole way, and I really felt bad. And I gave her some tissues and stuff. And then when I dropped her off, I just said, I hope everything goes okay with you. I hope you feel better or something. And she's, I don't know, she just really, it's like, I could just tell because she just said thank you or whatever. But I could tell like she appreciated me saying that or something. She was like, oh, thank you. But I don't know. I can't really think of anything really wild, like or crazy or anything like that. There was this couple. I had picked them up down. It was a male female couple. I had picked them up at downtown, and I was taking them up like at Fremont Street. I was taking them back up to Resorts World, which is up on the Strip, and then and so on the ride up to the Resorts World, they were just talking amongst themselves. But of course, they're right behind me. I can hear everything they're saying, and they were talking about. I guess they were at a club or a bar or something. And they were talking about this one girl that was really hot, and they were like, they were both saying how they were kind of turned on by her, and they were like wishing they would have got maybe got a threesome going and all this kind of stuff. And they were really getting kind of worked up. Like by the time we got to Resorts World, to the backside of Resorts World, because that's the way the route was to come in on the backside. That didn't sound right. I almost thought they were going to start having sex in the car. I mean, they were getting worked up about they were talking about what kind of sex toys they like and what they, all this stuff. And then right behind Resorts World is a strip club, a big strip club called Sapphire. And so as we were going there, we were kind of approaching it, they saw the strip club and they were like, and Resorts World was like right across the street. And they were like, hey, could you take us to the strip club instead of Resort World? And I was like, yeah, because I get a kickback. I get at Resorts World, at Sapphire, I get like, I forget if it's $50 a head or $80 a head. Because some places are $50 a head. It's all different. You get these kickbacks, driver kickbacks, if you take people to strip clubs. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I took them and I dropped them off, and they were like, they wanted to see, I guess they wanted to see some hot strippers. And they, like I said, they were getting really worked up. Like I thought they were going to start just humping in the back seat. But anyhow, so I took them there and I got my kickback, which was either 50 or 80. I think there might be $50 a head. So it was like $100 I got, plus whatever the ride cost. And so that's, but that's not real crazy. There's nothing really crazy, which I'm glad that there's nothing has been crazy. Fancy loves Toyotas. Surfer Norm says, in the West, many old cars ran both fuels, alcohol and gasoline, and you changed jets for whichever fuel you found. Asmer Knudsen says, electric cars are tax-free in Norway. The most popular model is the Tesla Model Y with 14% if all new car sales. We hate Elon. Yeah, and we hate Elon. Yeah, I know. We hate Elon too, but we love his cars. Yeah, the Model Y is the number one selling car in the world. Not just in the United States and not just EV. It's the number one selling car in the world. Now, I haven't checked lately if they've fallen, but they've consistently for the last couple, 2-3 years, they've been the number one selling car in the world of all cars, not just EVs. And it's a great car. I think it's a great car. But like I say, we hate Elon because he's a dick. And he's more than just a dick. It'd be one thing if you're just like a dick. Like Wes Webb's kind of a dick, but I don't think he's a bad guy. I like Wes Webb. But Elon Musk, yeah, if I called the guy a dick, he's more than a dick. He's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. And I don't like him. I would not want to hang out with Elon Musk. I would not want anything to do with Elon Musk. In fact, I might be afraid that I might get arrested because I might cold cock the motherfucker. You know what I mean? There's a difference. There's a difference. Hey, Mike H with a $9.99 super chat to the 5th or whatever they get it figured out. Hey, Mike H, thanks so much for the support of the show. I always appreciate it when you do that and when people do that. And if you can't do that, folks, like, subscribe, and sharing. Sharing is a great way of supporting the show. Hitting that thumbs up, getting us out in the algorithm. But thank you, Mike H. $9.99. That's awesome. I do appreciate that a lot. And see, not so bad for being a troll, huh? Wes Webb says, Silver Norm, my Mariner is flex fuel, burns about 85% alcohol. Steve Sayre says, didn't the government settle on Tesla's charging hookups? Settle? I don't know what you mean by that. Like, was there a lawsuit? I don't know. All I know is Tesla is the gold standard. The Tesla charging system is the gold standard. It's the best that's out there. That's why everyone wants to go to it. That's why all these manufacturers, these auto manufacturers, they want to go to it. Wes Webb, I fell in love with the Tesla S. The Mach E is more like the Y. Yeah, absolutely. Nick Rich says, while scooting along a back street, I passed a city-owned fast charger with a Kona plugged in. It looked odd in the middle of the block. A prototype, perhaps. I don't know. Perhaps. Wes Webb, so if me cut the fossil fuel cars by half, it take care of a quarter of the problem. No, it would take care of half the problem. And all I'm saying is that we can make significant gains, right now. And as the years go by, it's only going to get better. Mr. Bob Newell, what's hotter, 1 degree centigrade or 32 degrees Fahrenheit? I don't know, and I don't care. Surfer Norm says, at West Web, I understand. I was talking about the early 1900s when you might burn anything. There wasn't consistent fuel until the 1920s. Yeah, and that was the point, that it took a while for all that to get worked out. And we're going through that stage now with EVs and electric chargers. We're going through that stage of getting things worked out. 56 Nick Rich says the Charger, not the Kona, being a prototype. Well, I just listened to a YouTube video the other day about this guy who was saying that in California, or I don't know if it's California or just Los Angeles or LA County, but they're going to start a system where they start putting chargers for electric vehicles on all of the like telephone poles and light poles, because they're already wired, like the light poles. I guess it's the street light poles that are on streets, and people who park on the street. So people who might not have a garage to go to, they can park on the street and they can plug in their EV right there. And so there's a lot of things going on that are going to help people be able to charge their vehicles. And even if it's a slow charge, if you're at your house, you plug in and you charge that overnight when you're sleeping. You charge that when you're at home and you're not going anywhere, and then that's how that works. Because people will say, "Oh, it's too slow. I'm not going to sit there for 6 hours while my car is charging." You don't have to sit there for 6 hours while your car is charging. You plug it in, and you can set up a timer on it, and it'll go off, so that it'll charge during off-peak hours. And when you get up in the morning, it'll be all nice and charged up for you. And most people only drive, they say, an average of 30 or 35 miles a day. And most of these ranges now are like 300 miles. So you could get like 10 days worth of driving out of one charge if you're just driving like back and forth to work or into the store or something. So it's not as bad as people say, Mr. Spock says, ever ride the Boston subway system all electric? When you ride them, all you can smell is a huge overheating electric engine smell. Can't be healthy. I've never ridden on the Boston subway system, but I can tell you I've been driving Tesla Model 3s for about a year, and you don't smell any of that. Tesla, and I also drove the Polestar 2. There's none of that, so you don't have to worry about that. Josh says, yeah, say how the Prius, but they cost more. Fancy, I hate that smell. Nick Rich, you know already, Mr. Bob. Nick Rich says the TTC subways are all electric and no odor from the trains. I guess is that Toronto or something? West Web says Mike H, January 6th with the Capitol surrounded. I don't think we're going to see that again. Aaron West, the worst passenger he ever had was me. No, Aaron, you were a great passenger. Hey, there's Paul Sharkey Mannion. Good to see you. Says, howdy, TJ and truckers. Hope everyone is keeping calm and very happy with the way things are going. Trump is a loose cannon and will try anything. Yeah, he knows he's going to lose. And as he gets, like I said at the top of the show, as we get closer and closer to Election Day, which is 3 days away, he's going to, I think, just, have more and more of this stoking of violence. Because he doesn't give a fuck. He does not give a fuck how many people die or get hurt because of his words. He does not give a fuck. In fact, he gets off on it. I'm sure he gets off on it. I'm sure on January 6th, he was watching he was watching the riots, and all that, or whatever you want to call it, the insurrection, and he was loving it. And so he knows he's going to lose, and so don't be surprised if by Monday he's just calling for all out, get your guns out or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past him at this point. And that's the scary thing. Let's see, where did I leave off here? Nick Rich, there are a few spots where they emerge between stations, but most of the subways are subterranean. So we're talking about subways. Josh says most people can't afford to buy a new car. Yeah, and you can get good deals on used ones. There are a lot of EVs have been around. If we're talking about EVs have been around long enough now where you can find some pretty good deals on some used ones. A used Model 3, you can find a nice used Model 3 for 20, 25, And I think I've even seen some people claiming they got some for like 17 or 18. And what they're finding is that the battery packs are lasting a lot longer than they originally were thought. They're only degrading at about 1.8% per year. And they're projecting that for most of these battery packs, you're going to get 15 to 20 years of life out of them. And most people, don't keep their cars longer than, I think, 7 years or so. So I think it's all, comparable to gas-powered cars in terms of, like if you keep a gas-powered car for 7 years, or like me, I'm more of a 10 to 12-year type of person. And I think EVs can compare to that. If I bought a new EV or even a used one, the total life of that car, I think I feel like I could easily get 10 or 12 years out of it. Certainly 5 to 7, which is more of the average that people go before getting either a new vehicle or I guess another used vehicle. Before they get rid of the car they're driving and going to another one. I think the average is like 7 years, or it used to be. Maybe it got a little bit longer as as cars were getting more unaffordable, I guess. West says, laughing out loud, I'm Trucker John's fan from back in the real truck driving days. Yeah, that's right. Wes Webb was there back in the days when I used to do the show on the road, from the road, and on the road, back with the shaky cam days. What did Nick say? Because Aaron had an exclamation point about something Nick said, but I don't know. I missed it, and I don't see it, even though it's on all chats. Oh wait, that was about the subway. Anyhow, I'm not going. I should know not to go back because I can never find it. Anyhow, Mike H, I'm not a troll. I'm not a troll. Thanks, Mike H. I do appreciate you being here. I do. Glad to see you here. And you're allowed to have your own opinion about things. Just back it up with facts and all that kind of stuff. Which you do. I'm not saying you don't. Fancy, what is the smallest Tesla? Well, the smallest one is the Model 3. And it seats 5 people. There's 2 seats in the front, and in the back you can seat 3 people. It's a tight fit, but I get that all the time and when I'm doing Uber. 3 in the back and 1 in the front. But it's a bit tight, even with like average build people. It could be kind of a tight fit. But people seem to, do it okay. So Josh says, I get a lot of trucking stuff in my YouTube feed since I started hanging around the driver's lounge. Oh, yeah, I guess that'll happen. So it's truckers in my name, and so you get trucker stuff, I guess. West Web, I had 200 notifications this morning. 200, wow. That's a lot, West Web. You must be really popular. Fancy says, Kevin, where have you been? West said I wasn't smart because I don't know metric. Josh says, fill the interstate medians and setbacks with solar and wind. It's a pre-existing grid. Yeah, there's lots of things we could do as far as getting, wind and solar. We could do rooftop solar. There's lots of space that we could use for all that. Let's see. Mike H says, TJ, what if you get an a-hole that disconnects the charger cable? You mean when you're charging? Oh, you mean like if you're on the street, parked on the street, and then someone unplugged it? Then I guess your car wouldn't charge, and that would suck. I'm just trying to think if there's any way that you could lock it on, or if there would be a lock where you couldn't pull it out. But I'm not sure if they could do that or not. But if someone's doing that, I guess that would suck. I would like to think that would be rare, or the exception to the rule, or whatever. But it could happen. But yeah, it would suck. But I would think that would be the exception to the rule. If that's a rule. Or that would be the exception to, and then you would just have to deal with it accordingly, I guess. Put a camera up, try to catch who's doing it. I don't know. Stand out there with a baseball bat. I don't know. Shit, I don't know. Have a dog out there chained to the pole. I don't know. I don't know. But that's a good question. But hopefully that would be, like a rare thing or something. Okay, I'm just skipping down a little bit. I know I'm really behind in the chat. Carolyn Phillips is here. Hey, Carolyn, good to see you. Thanks for being here and joining us in the driver's lounge. Carolyn Phillips says, even though we have voted, hubby took Tuesday off so we can watch the results together. Both of us a bit nervous. Yeah, I think everyone's a bit nervous. I'm very confident that Kamala Harris is going to win, and bigly. But like I keep saying, man, the old ghost of 2016 haunts me. So we're going to be, I think we're all going to be a little nervous, and until we see the results coming in. It's normal, I guess, to feel nervous, because you just never know. If 2016 didn't show us that expression, you never know, is like a true expression, then I guess nothing will. West Web, more than usual. That was just overnight. Figured it was political. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Paul Mannion, hi Aaron. W, hope you're well. Mr. Spock, trying to save money on a driving trip to Boston, picked an abandoned house to set a tent up. As soon as dust set in, it was storm clouds, mosquitoes, and thinking zombies would come out of the house. What the fuck? Who does that? Who picks an abandoned house and set up a tent? Get a fucking hotel, you cheapskate. That's why they have Motel 6s, because they're cheap, and you don't have to pitch a tent in some abandoned house where God only knows what's going to come after you. Nick Rich, I was thinking about dyeing my beard. Any suggestions? Okay, I get it. Mr. Spock quickly headed to Boston for a motel room, laughing out loud. There you go. Paul Shray, man, Mr. Spock, that's some good shit you're smoking. West Web, I used to dye everything when I was working. Takes a block of time out of your day. Yeah, it does. It sure does. Did someone mention dyeing their beard purple? I just want to say, I don't dye mine. This is all natural. All natural. It's just the weirdest thing. I was just born with a purple beard. Ever since I was a little boy, I had this purple beard. No dye for me. It's the real deal. Purple beard. And sparkly. It's a sparkly purple beard. And mustache, of course. So no dye. And they don't even make this color of dye, as far as I know. Just for Men does not have purple. Believe you me. Because I do get a few grays every now and then, and I'm like, boy, it would be nice if Just for Men had a purple. So. But anyhow, the sparkly part kind of drowns out the grays. So I'm good there. But I just want to say hi to everybody. Man, 3 days away. We're getting 3 days closer to the old election day. I'm sitting on pins and needles. I don't know about you guys, but I'm on pins and needles. I'm a bit worried. Even though I think Kamala Harris is going to win. We're going to have a big blue wave. It's going to be Rovember. Oh, yes. Don't forget about Rovember. So I do foresee a crushing victory for Kamala Harris. Just gonna sweep that orange turd blossom down the old drain or whatever you want to say it, however you want to put it. But yeah, still, it's a bit nerve-wracking. So election day can't come soon enough. So, but I'll be there. I'll be watching just like everybody else, and keeping my fingers crossed. And I'll be watching Hal Sparks and his little marathon, just like everybody else, and we'll be watching the results. So let's just all think good, positive thoughts for Kamala. She's going to win, and all down ballot too. We need to get the down ballot votes. Vote blue for all that's dear to you. Trademark Trucker John. I have to say that, or else I'll be sued. Trucker John will sue me if I don't put that little tag at the end. But anyhow, I just want to say hi everybody, and yeah, this is no dye here. It's the real deal, and that's the truth. I wouldn't lie to you about that. All right. Oh, hi there, everybody. Hey, Paul, the purple beard guy. I just want to say he's full of shit. I've seen the fucking dye in the sink. Fucker's always dyeing his fucking beard. Don't let him fool you. Don't take that shit. It's bullshit. I don't know what he uses. Whatever, if it's Just for Men, or if he's got food coloring. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but yeah, don't believe that horse shit. No one has a natural purple beard. All right, it's almost as absurd as someone having a cookie for a head. I guess I don't know, but anyhow, just want to say hi, everybody, and hey, Kamala Harris is going to kick fucking Trump's ass. All right, don't even worry about it. It's going to be a fucking blowout. Biden beat him by 8 million votes in 2020. Kamala Harris is going to double that. It's going to be 16 million votes. Mark my words. I said it. That's right. I said it right here. Mark my words. Tough cookie to say it. Hey, and my extra head. It said that that Kamala Harris is going to beat Trump by 16 million votes. And you can take that to the bank. All right? All right, fuckers? Take that to the bank. 16 million. She's going to double up on what Biden got. Beat him by. That's right. So I hope that helps you with your anxiety. Because Tough Cookie has never been wrong. That's right. Never been wrong about these things. So write that down. Someone write that down. Tough Cookie says Kamala Harris is going to beat Trump by 16 million votes in the popular, and she's going to win Pennsylvania. And if she wins Pennsylvania, it's over. It's over. All right? Just remember that. So I just wanted to say that before Trucker John goes and does whatever he does. All right, guys. All right, so Tough Cookie with a bold prediction. which coincidentally is my prediction. I think he's just copying off my paperwork, because that's what I said. I think I even said that before. I think he heard me say that on a previous show. Anyhow, yeah, 16 million. I will predict that myself. It's going to be a 16 million vote blowout, and she's going to blow them out on the electoral college too. This is going to make Nixon Mondale election or campaign or election day thing. It's going to make that look like nothing. This is going to be the worst shellacking in presidential election history. There. So I had to top you there, Tough Cookie. Aaron West, we're going to win. Yes, we are. West Webb Levin, I dream constantly, stoned or not. This morning, half asleep in bed, I dreamed that my sister was eating a live bear. That's crazy. That must mean something. West Webb, last night's TSC must have worn off. Nick Rich says, thanks, John. You're welcome. West Webb, everything but nothing will stay the same. Josh, my wife called to tell me some ladies at the orchard store complimented the earrings I just got her for her birthday yesterday. Oh, that's nice. Nick Rich, no hanging Chad shit like in 2000. Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that anymore. Mr. Spock, but are you a chronic West Webb? That's the difference. So anyhow, just about coming up to the end of the show here. Just want to remind everybody, I will be on, as far as I know, I'll be on with Liberal Dan on Monday night. He comes on at 8 o'clock Central, and I'll be joining Dan. It'll be sort of an election eve kind of a special show. I mean, it's his show, so I don't know exactly. I'm just going to hang out with Dan. So you guys want to check that out, make sure you mark that on your calendars. Go over to the Liberal Dan channel on LoopTube. I almost said LoopTube. On YouTube. So we'll do that. And then Tuesday, see my schedule right here. I will still be on it from 9 to 11 or somewhere thereabouts for it's my normal regular Tuesday show, but it's a little special because it's election day. And then from there, I'll be handing it off to Hal, who's going to be doing like a 24-hour marathon type of a deal. And so I'll be watching Hal. I don't know. No one's reached out to me about going on that show. I would love to go on during his 24 hours, but I think Hal's going to have Stephanie Miller. He's talked about today at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. And I think he'll probably have Boston Brian. There, maybe Philip Ittner will come on. I think Tara Dublin will be on. Maybe, I don't know. But I think I heard him mention he's going to bring people in. So that'll be cool. And so I'll be there in the chat with you guys, chatting away and biting my fingernails just along with all the rest of you as the results come in later in the evening. And we'll just be sending positive thoughts to the Kamala Harris campaign, and that we get the positive results that we need, because we just can't get it. We can't handle another 4 years of Trump. I know it sounds like hyperbole, or whatever, about this being the end of democracy, the end of as we know it, the end of America as we know it. But I don't think it's hyperbole. I think it's true. And if he gets into power, he's got the Supreme Court that he needs. He would probably have the Congress that he needs. He's got the Project 2025 to just start checking everything off on that. He has said out loud at his rallies that he does not like the Constitution. He would like to destroy and tear up the Constitution. So if he wins, that's what he will do. He will turn this country into a dictatorship. He won't be a dictator for just one day. He will be a dictator for one day, and then he will make a rule that he will be a dictator forever, for as long as he's alive. which you know, he's not like a young guy, so a young healthy guy. But yeah, Trump winning this election is the worst possible thing that could happen. And so make sure, if you haven't voted, get out and vote. Bring friends with you to vote. Vote blue, no matter who. Vote blue for all that's dear to you. Trademark. And get Kamala Harris in there and get the House back. Get the Senate. Keep the Senate. Flip some seats. I think Colin Allred, let's get him in there. Lucas Kuntz, let's get him in there. Let's keep John Tester. Maybe Florida's in play. I don't know. It'd be nice. Let's do this. Let's do this thing. Let's do it. Let's win this election and let's win down ballot. Let's stop with the shenanigans. Let's stop with this bullshit of these right wingers coming in and just destroying everything and setting us back and taking us back not to the 1950s but to the 1850s. Let's put a stop to that. Let's bring back women's right to choose. I mean, that alone, and that is going to be a huge factor. Rovember is a real thing. And then let's just keep it up, 2020, 2026, 2028, every 2 years we vote. Every 2 years, not every 4 years. Make sure we keep voting for good Democrats in those congressional elections and the midterm elections. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. Right now, we're here at Tuesday. I voted. A lot of you have already voted. I hope you all voted for Kamala Harris. And those that haven't voted, I really, really hope that you will vote for Kamala Harris and encourage everyone to do so. To have Trump in there, it's dystopian. It's total Handmaid's Tale, all that shit. And like I say, the only time I get a little anxious or scared is when I think about 2016. And I think hopefully 2016 reminded everyone of how important it is to not take things for granted, to make sure we register, to make sure we vote, to make sure we vote for Democrats. 2016 should be on everyone's mind. It should be a constant reminder of how important it is to vote and not to just sit things out and take things for granted. So with that, I guess I'll be bidding you guys adieu. I'll see you. Hopefully, I'll see you Monday if everything goes as planned over there with Liberal Dan, and I'll see you Tuesday on my show here. And I was going to try to get Liberal Dan on my show. I haven't spoke to him since a couple of days ago, but he said that he works, so he might not be able to. But maybe there might be a chance that Liberal Dan could come in for maybe 10 or 15 minutes or half an hour. I'll have to send him another email and ask him about that. And that would be fun on election day to have Liberal Dan on the show. All right, guys. So that's it for now. Thanks everyone for being here. You guys, thanks for the super chats and thanks for the membership donations. Thanks Mike H for the super sticker, and thanks to we had Nick and Fancy who donated, and thanks to Asburn Knudsen for the super chats and donating. I guess it was Asburn Knudsen and Mike H or Fancy. But thanks everyone for the likes, the subscribes, and the shares. We're getting close to 3,500 subscribers. Let's keep the show going and growing. Let's get bigger and stronger. I think we need as many voices as we can to promote democracy with a little d, and to promote the Democratic Party with a big D and a big P, and to promote, I think, liberal causes, and to get the truth out. wherever it is, even if it's something that, might go against a Democrat or something. It's about getting the truth out that we are in a great economy. We are in a robust economy that is the envy of the world. We came out of COVID and got and didn't have 20% and 30% inflation rates like some countries did. And because of Joe Biden's economic plans and programs and things that he's gotten through, we have gotten unemployment to sustained levels of like 4%, 4.1%, and higher wages and more jobs and jobs coming back from overseas and new manufacturing jobs coming back. GDP 2.8% and 3% growth and trending to continue that way. Great economy. That's the truth. We are not in a bad economy. That's the type of truth that we need to get out. Don't let the right-wingers control the narrative. And so I'm hoping that I might be one little part of that. I know, 3,500 subscribers, and you have a Hal Sparks and Stephanie Miller and Randy Rhodes and Tom Hartman, David Pakman, Liberal Dan, Boston Brian, Texas Paul, all these folks. Some have more subscribers than others, some have bigger reaches than others, like Hal Sparks has a pretty good reach. But we all do our little part. Whether it's just one person at a time, one subscriber at a time, one viewing at a time. But that's what we got to do to get the message out. Nicole Sandler is another one. Getting out the truth. Because we do have an uphill battle against mainstream media and big media markets and Fox News, right-wing media that are putting out, especially the right-wing media, putting out disinformation and misinformation on a daily basis, 24/7, 365. That's what we face. And that's why I'm here to in my little part, to try to get some truth, to break through the lies and help promote the truth. That's why I do what I do. And that's why all the people that I mentioned, I think that's why they do what they do. All the liberal ones I just mentioned. And so in my little way, I do it, and I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad you guys are here with me. I enjoy my time that I spend with you on these days right here. There's my schedule. And we hang out for a couple hours, and it's a great couple hours. It really makes my day. So I want to thank every one of you for being here, spending the time with me, and helping you. You help me to get through the Trump bullshit. You guys help me, and I hope I help you in some way too. So, whoops, I didn't make it. That probably made a big loud noise. Sorry about that. But in closing, I just want to say, just remember, guys, that if you ever feel like it's just going to be too much to handle or too much hard. Oops, I hit my mic again. Sorry about that. But just remember, here's the secret to handling all that, okay?
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad, I doubt talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I try to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kick. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully. Nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you, baby, to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving. Who am I trying to kid? At least when I was out there driving, I could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kick. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream, this is where we